Hi, this is Goddess Remix here. Gonna do a reading. I'm gonna start off. Um, I'm gonna start off. I really want some coffee, but I'm gonna start off saying what I need to say first. So this is gonna be a room reading. T-Wads. We have T-Wads here. I'm gonna start with the dice first. So we have T-Wads here in reverse. Yara here. And Kunas here. With the dice, we have a masculine energy who is not in emperor, who's not in emperor status, who this is, Tiwaz is about strength and power. It's the god of war. It's a leader. It's somebody who's strong. It's somebody who who's a good leader, who's strong. This person is weak, not in a leadership role, and they celebrate it putting a wound on somebody. Kunaz is about healing, but it's also about wounding and pain. And Yara is about celebrations, success. You know, somebody thought that it would be a success by putting pain and a wound on somebody. This is a masculine energy that is supposed to be a leader, and they're not. And then so along with Tiwaz, we have Anzus right next to him, right? And Anzus is about your connection to the divine. It's about, it represents the god Odin. So it represents wisdom. This person is supposed to be a leader, a spiritual leader. We have Anzus. They're supposed to be a spiritual leader that has gifts, right? Gebo means gifts. And then we have Isa, which is ice. Represents ice and represents being stuck. This spiritual leader is misusing their gifts. Therefore, is misusing their spiritual gifts, which makes them not quite. Issa's throwing me off because it's like this person's stuck. Or they want this other person to be stuck. The person that they're inflicting pain and wounds on, they want them to be stuck. So they want them to be stuck regarding their spiritual gifts. But it's a spiritual leader doing this. And they celebrated this. They thought it was a win. So we're talking about someone who does not want somebody else to discover their gifts. We have Fehu at the top, paired with Tiwaz and Anzus. And Fehu in reverse, Merkstaff, is a loss, is expenses, it's financial hardship. So this wound was to create a financial hardship in somebody's life. So they're attacking somebody's spiritual gifts. So somebody is supposed to make money off their spiritual gifts somehow, and they're attacking by creating. So when you are attacking somebody to where they can't discover their gifts, you're putting them in a financial hardship. You're putting them in a lack of growth. And they do this with Yara again. They do this often. It's like a yearly cycle. Because Yara represents success. You're reaping your harvest. You're celebrating. But also it represents a yearly cycle too. So it's like how they're attacking is they do it particularly on a yearly cycle. So there's probably parts of the year that they do certain things. I'm also getting that they keep people stuck with Esau and Kunos right here. They keep people stuck in their wounds, in their pain. And that's why they can't develop their spiritual gifts. This is a spiritual leader abusing their gifts and inflicting a pain and a wound on other people. And keeping them stuck to where they can't develop their gifts. And they're supposed to make money off their gifts. So then it's like, because you're keeping them in that pain and that wounding, they're going through a financial hardship and they're going through a lack of growth. They can't get that communication. But Anzus here, they can't get that communication, that wisdom. So we have a masculine energy, a spiritual leader misusing their gifts. And so that they keep people stuck. So they keep people stuck. And I recently had downloads on how the loss, because I'm reading a book right now, and it talks about how there's two groups of people. You have the lost and the not lost. This is a prime example of how people are lost and people are manipulating other people into not wanting to develop their gifts, not wanting to gain the wisdom that they need to gain, because they are meant to use their spiritual gifts to profit off of. So they keep them in lack. And they do this often. They do this on a yearly cycle. This is something that they do every year. So there could be parts of the year that they do it. I know in some readings it keeps talking about, oh, of course you want to do it around Samhain or Samhain or the Day of the Dead or Halloween. I know people do a lot of spell work around there. So this could be a prime example of they want to keep people in a lack. They want people to keep being financially in a hardship. It's stagnation. So this is a, prime example of, if you are stuck, there's something more for you to learn. And if somebody's keeping you in that stuck mindset, they could be using other things to keep you stuck. I want to say there's more out there. So if a particular person in a spiritual setting is keeping you, if they're saying don't do something, then that's a prime example of them telling you wrong. Because this right here is saying you're not using your gifts, and this is why you're stuck. because you're not using your spiritual gifts and you're letting somebody manipulate you into thinking that your spiritual gifts are not important. And it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in a financial hardship. It's keeping you stagnant. This is the room reading. I'm going to end this room reading right here. Definitely will come with more. This is Goddess Runic Seer. Please subscribe to my channel if you like the reading. I'll see you guys later. Bye.